You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us this Thursday evening. I'm Ken Bufa. Long Islanders spent the day trying to beat the heat, and tomorrow's expected to be another scorcher. Now, despite cooling centers being opened up across Long Island, some are not even being used. Newsday TV's Steve Langford has the story.
High noon at the gas pumps at the BP station in East Meadow, and Yilmaz Kellis is working the 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. shift.
What do you eat?
Kellis is from Turkey. The heat, he says, doesn't bother him. At Kennedy Park in Hempstead, the pool is a welcome oasis.
It's nice that the community has an outlet for our young people, adults to come in, cool off during this heat wave.
Meantime, the pool over at Christopher Morley Park in Roslyn is shut for the summer, the county executive citing meager attendance and the need for repairs and maintenance. The town of Oyster Bay has announced the opening of cooling centers at locations, including the ice skating center in Bethpage, where the room had no takers late morning. Over at the Hicksville Athletic Center, the people at the front desk were unaware of any cooling center here that had been announced by the town. When we went inside to check about the cooling center, the young man at the desk inside said, "What's a cooling center?" The town of Hempstead's cooling center at the Uniondale Merrick Senior Center was empty at noon, but the person in charge said about 15 people were expected back after lunch. Most people have air conditioning, the center's director says.
I think everybody's okay so far, because I made a couple calls and there seems to be fine.
Even the ice cream truck in Hempstead was quiet, the operator telling Newsday TV business is slow because everyone's at the beach. Steve Langford for Newsday TV.
Rex Heuermann's family has returned today to their Massapequa Park home. Heuermann's son was seen talking to police. Now, the suspected Gilgo Beach killer's wife, who filed for divorce, and his daughter was also seen. And that's after investigators spent nearly 2 weeks searching the property, where authorities say massive amounts of evidence was taken out of the house. Investigators also dug up the backyard, so stay tuned to Newsday TV for the latest updates on the Gilgo killings case. And many Long Islanders are struggling to pay bills and keep food on the table. And today, we're talking with a single mother of 3 who is facing tough decisions as she works to balance her budget. Newsday TV's Macy Eglin brings us a second part in our series, Feeling the Squeeze. It's a story you'll see only in Newsday.
The bills are there, but the income is not.
It's no secret Long Island is an expensive place to live. And with inflation, the rising cost of living has forced a lot of people to make some changes.
Sometimes I don't know how I'm going to make it. I have to, save at least half of my paycheck to get the rent. Then I have the kids.
Rochelle John is a single mother of 3.
And they're raising everything else except my pay, so I'm still trying to juggle what I have just to make ends meet.
Like many Long Islanders, Rochelle John is renting her home. She's been living in a 2-bedroom apartment here in Quorum for a year and pays just over $1,600 a month. It's considered affordable housing, but she says it's still a struggle.
When I got the call from here, I was so happy that, and when they said it's income-based, I'm thinking that I was able to afford it.
Right now, John is working as a manager at a fast food restaurant.
I'm not even smelling $21 an hour.
She puts in 40 hours a week on a night shift, so she's able to get the kids on and off the school bus. And it's been tough.
Sometimes it's really hard,
But this is the most stability they've had in years. John says she was living in a shelter and then with a friend before she landed here.
I'm trying. I really am. I cry so many times.
John says she's living paycheck to paycheck, and she is not alone. Many Long Islanders are feeling the pinch. Based on the data analyzed in a 2022 study by the Suffolk County Legislature's Welfare to Work Commission, 1 in 5 Long Islanders are living below the poverty line.
I have to use my credit cards in order to, get gas. And, if the food stamps is done, I have to use that to get the groceries. Sometimes I pay the minimum and, because I can't do it.
So for now, she's forced to find a way to make it work, but grateful to at least have her own place with her kids and applying for higher paying jobs, ideally, she says, in a hospital where she can help others and herself create a brighter future.
I'm hanging in there until better can come. That's what I'm doing.
For Newsday TV, I'm Macy Eglund.
And tomorrow, we'll introduce you to a child care provider also feeling the squeeze.
As a provider, I'm making about $6 an hour. My staff are making minimum wage because that's the most that I can pay.
Now, she owns the daycare, but only pays herself $6 an hour. Find out why. And to read more on Feeling the Squeeze, go to Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. And talk about a sweet gig. Nearly 300 LIRR workers made more than $100,000 in overtime last year. Now, it's a story you saw first in Newsday. So according to a report from the Empire Center, the MTA's overtime costs swelled to nearly $1.3 billion in 2022. That's up more than $170 million from 2021. And 6 of the top 10 overtime earners worked right here on the Long Island Railroad. And first in Newsday, Nassau County Democrats and some voters are suing over redistricting. The committee claims Republicans drew new lines that favored GOP candidates and reduce voting power of communities of color.
The way these maps are, you're telling Black and brown people of color in Nassau County, you do not have the right to pursue your happiness.
Now, the Dems are suing Nassau County, the Republican-controlled legislature, and the County Board of Elections. The Nassau County Republican Committee chairman said in a statement here, the legislative districts that have been created are fair and competitive and will comply with all federal and state redistricting laws. And Suffolk will be providing up to $30,000 in aid for first-time homebuyers. County Executive Steve Bellone announced homebuyers can now apply for its down payment assistance program. So, who's eligible?
You also have to have a minimum annual household income of $40,000, and maximums are set according to the 2023 HUD income guidelines.
Bellone said there are also cost caps on both new construction and existing homes. It must be a single-family home, and the buyer must live in the house for 10 years. The Around Long Island Regatta is underway. Check this out. You're looking at video shot by one of the crews that took off from New York Harbor earlier today. This is the 46th annual race around Long Island. The regatta can take up to 3 days to complete, mind you. The race ends at the Sea Cliff Yacht Club. And Long Islanders hit the water to put 300,000 baby oysters into Bellport Bay.
Take back the bay!
The Friends of Bellport Bay nonprofit is trying to rebuild Long Island's shellfish population. Its co-founders said the oysters will grow and create reefs that make habitats for other species like crabs, flounder, and fluke. These reefs can also protect the shorelines from erosion. All right, let's take a look at your hot Long Island weather. You can see tonight we have partly cloudy skies with temps in the 70s, and tomorrow it's going to be mostly sunny with temps in the high 80s, if not 90s. Taking a look at tomorrow's highs, Great Neck feeling it at 93, but Montauk, it's pleasant over there at 80 degrees.
Long Island weather is brought to you by King O'Rourke Automotive Group.
Back to the Future is, well, back with the Broadway show, and it sparked renewed interest in the iconic DeLorean. We spoke to a Long Islander who owns 2 of them in a story you'll see only in Newsday.
Is that the original strap?
Yeah. I enjoyed the movie Back to the Future, but I was interested in the DeLorean before the movie came out. I grew up in the 80s. My dad was an engineer, and there was a lot of talk about this new car that was coming out that was all stainless steel. It was a very different from the cars that were around at the time. It's very different. The gull-wing doors, of course, the stainless steel construction, had a lot of things that were ahead of its time, like the disc brakes. It had It was designed for safety. It's just a fun little sports car.
Great Scott! Can this thing really do 88?
Trust me.
My wife and I saw it yesterday. She got me tickets for Christmas, and we were in the city yesterday. It was an excellent show. It varied a little bit from the movie. Certainly, to put it on a stage, it had to be some modifications, but it was a terrific show. It's what I always say about DeLoreans. It's one of those cars that I think everybody likes. That you go places, everybody is happy to see the DeLorean. They're all excited to see one because they're not around very often. They evoke a lot of positive reactions. People love the movie, people love the car. It's just a really fun car to own and to be around.
That car is always just so cool. Now, for more on the DeLoreans and the show, to go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
What's Up on Long Island is brought to you by PC Richard & Son.
Here's what's up on Long Island. Come and taste the food prepared by the famous nonas of the feast, including baked ziti, eggplant, chicken, and veal parmesan. There's also rides and games and fireworks on the Feast of St. Rocco is in Glen Cove from Friday to Sunday. The Beach Boys are coming to Long Island. The concert features Mike Love and Bruce Johnson and the familiar sounds of summer. It's Sunday evening at the West Hampton Beach Performing Arts Center. And the Huntington Summer Arts Festival is wrapping up this weekend. The free outdoor music shows are Rain or Shine Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday evening at Heckscher Park in Huntington. Now, for admission info and more events, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
Watch Newsday TV on the big screen. Use the remote to activate Siri, Alexa, Roku, or the Google Assistant on your streaming device. Say, install Newsday. Newsday TV, covering Long Island like no one else can.
You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Ken Buffa. Thank you so much for joining us. We leave you now with a look at your 7-day forecast.